Hi there, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jamie. We're the owners of Hired Hand Software.
And this is Season 6 of our From the Pasture podcast. For more than 15 years, we've been helping breeders promote their pedigree livestock with our easy-to-use, animal management-driven website software.
Each week, we bring you stories from the pasture, breeding philosophies, ranch traditions, cattle knowledge, and conversation with folks using Hired Hand to power their livestock marketing.
So settle in for today's episode of From the Pasture with Hired Hand. Welcome to this episode of From the Pasture with Hired Hand. Today we're heading to Central Alabama to visit Tolar Longhorns in Prattville, home to a registered Texas Longhorn herd being built by a fourth-generation cattle family with a very different breed than their ancestors raised. I'm your host, Molly Clubb, and I'm excited to take you on another journey into the world of Texas Longhorns and the breeders who care for them, with today's guests, Reid and Ashley Tolar. Welcome. Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, why don't you give us kind of the general overview? Who are you both? Where are you? What is Tolar Longhorns? All of those details.
Well, basically, we're Reid and Ashley Tolar. We're in Central Alabama, a little town called Prattville, just outside of Montgomery, which is the state capital. We have a 4-year-old son. His name is Watson. We've been married this year will be 17 years, and we've been doing the Longhorns, I guess, probably for close to 9 years now.
So as I understand it, your family has been in cattle for 4 generations in Alabama. It started with dairy and then moved to commercial beef, and you all are the ones who pivoted into registered Longhorns. What did that conversation and that process look like?
Yeah, it was kind of, I guess, funny because I did grow up. My great-grandfather was a dairy farmer, then my grandfather was a dairy farmer, and he swapped to commercial beef. My dad bought out the commercial beef operation when my grandfather retired, and it was basically going to end there because I did not want anything to do with cows. I had no desire being the hired help, and so I just didn't enjoy them. But when Ashley and I got married, she had a background in horses, and so she lived out in the country and had some land, and we purchased some property from her grandmother, but we were cutting grass all the time and bush hogging pastures, and finally, I just decided, you know what? When I grew up, we had cows and they kept the pastures mowed down for us. So why don't we get a few cows and just kind of help us with this maintenance of our place? And so Ashley didn't want anything normal. She didn't want commercial beef cows. She said, well, let's do something different, something that most people don't have around here. So we chose the Texas Longhorn and we bought 3 bred cows. And once those bred cows had their babies, that's when Ashley fell in love with it. And she's kind of taken over from here, and she just absolutely loves it and runs wide open with it.
What's your favorite part, Ashley?
Gosh, now I have a helper. I have a gate guy now. He's 4. Our son Watson. But no, I enjoy just, he and I'll go out in the mornings and check on everybody. We'll walk out there. He likes to let them sniff him and pet on him. So that's probably the most enjoyable for me right now is sharing it with him.
And do you all also run horses, or is it just the Longhorns then?
No, I still have horses. I still show, and Watson likes to do lead line right now. So we stay busy with the cows and the horses.
So did the Longhorns accomplish what you were hoping and get the land cleared down to a point where it's more manageable and everything? Or did you find yourself having to have a lot more?
We've actually, they take care of the grass a lot better than I thought they would. And now they eat more grass than we have. So we have to feed hay. But that's okay. It's part of it. And we love it. So
you got a few Longhorns on your place. Did you come up with your ranch name and your brand before or after the Longhorns arrived?
I guess it was after the Longhorns arrived. I originally wanted to take over my grandfather's brand, which was Tolar Farms. It was a T and a F combined. But Ashley and I, after talking about it and looking at it, it didn't really represent what we wanted to be with the Longhorns. So we started drawing a few brands here and there and ended up with the one that we have. It was on a napkin, and we just thought it was what we wanted to do. So we went with it and we made a few hats. Everybody loved the brand. So that's kind of where it has come from and where it's here to stay now. It's a good change. I liked the traditions of my grandfather's farm, potentially bringing that in, but it's a good change because it's a new direction for us.
Are there any traditions he had that you did keep that you find yourself utilizing?
I think I learned mostly what not to do by the way that he had a very large ranch, and he just let the cows go wherever they wanted to go. He was a very hands-off cattle rancher, which was fine. That's the way he liked to do it. We're more hands-on. We enjoy the rotational grazing and getting the most out of the property that we can. So that's been a big difference in the way he ran things versus the way I run things.
When you say hands-on, what does that look like day to day or week to week?
Ashley and I and Watson are in the pasture every day. When I leave the office, we go home, we're in the pasture, we're feeding cows, we're taking pictures of babies, and it's just an everyday part of life for us.
Well, walk me through your herd today. How many head are you running? What are you breeding for? Who are some of your favorites?
Well, we currently have 2 separate herds, I would call them. They're all Longhorns, but we have our registered herd that we keep at the house. And it's about between 50 and 60 total animals there. We have our breeding animals, and we have a herd of trophy steers there at the house. Those are all the pets and the ones that we're breeding to show and to take to sales and for replacement heifers. And then we also have a meat herd that's just down the road from the home. And they're all still Longhorns, but we developed a meat business, and we have about between 50 and 60 animals there at the meat place. So it gives us a good place to send calls, to send anything with any type of an attitude. It has helped us create a floor for our registered animals. If somebody wants to come offer us very little money for a registered animal, then we know that we can process them for a certain amount of money, and it just helps us with the economics of it. And so it's been good. And we used to buy steers from other breeders to fulfill those meat orders, but we've slowly transitioned into being able to raise our own. So that's been a good transition for us. So we have a little over 100 head total, and we're continuing to grow. We probably got 40 to 50 calves that'll be coming this fall. So just recently purchased some more land. So now we're trying to fill it up with cows too.
So which came first, the interest and the need in your area for lean Longhorn beef, or your need for your culls or your lower end animals?
Yeah, it was definitely the need for us to get rid of animals. That was probably one of the struggles when we first started, was trying to find buyers for the Longhorns, especially in the Southeast down here. They're just not as popular. They're gaining popularity every day, but they're not as popular around here, so it's not as many buyers. We ended up, our first 2 years, we had a calf crop between the 2 years of, I think it was 18 bull calves and 2 heifers. And so we had to figure out something to do with those animals, and we just kind of stumbled into the meat business, and it has really taken off and has helped offset the cost of the registered herd. So it's been a big plus for us to have that meat business.
So are you direct to consumer, or what's your model like for the beef?
Yeah, we're direct to consumer. That's Ashley's gig. I'm going to let her talk about that.
Yeah, so when we first started out, I thought we'd kind of be like the grocery store and just let people come in and tell me what they wanted. But I quickly figured out that was not the way to go, because all anybody wants is steaks, and then you're left with everything else. So now we probably take 4 to 6 animals at a time when we go to the processor, and when I get home, I'll just take the meat, divide it up into bundles, what I call a beef bundle, and each one varies a little bit. And I just post the beef bundles on our Facebook page, and they're usually gone within about a week from when I post them.
Do you feel like you have a lot of repeat customers and folks waiting for you to take another one to the locker and everything?
Yes, we have a waiting list. and we do have a good many repeat customers, but it's all, we don't do, the traditional advertising. It's all word of mouth. And our repeat customers telling their friends and sharing the beef with friends, and then they'll come see us and give it a try. And most of these people, have eaten Angus beef their whole life. And once they give the Longhorn beef a try, they're sold. They tell me, they're like, I'll never go back to Angus beef. This is so much better. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Did you find yourself initially having to give some like cooking instructions and, the differences there, or, did folks just kind of figure that part out on their own?
Yes, I always give a little disclaimer for the first time buyers. It is different. I just tell them it's like cooking deer meat. It cooks a little bit quicker, but you will kind of figure that out once you get started. And they just absolutely love it. We can't keep it.
Once they overcook their first steak, they learn, right?
Right.
Yeah, we've had several trial runs with the beef tips and
hockey pucks for a few times.
Hopefully you have a few ranch dogs that appreciate them at least.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Well, in terms of the registered herd, the non-beef herd, do you feel like you're breeding for certain traits, or what's kind of the ideal Tolar Longhorn?
Yeah, we certainly are. Now that we've been in it for roughly 9 years, we're figuring out what we like. Ashley's background in the horse world, she likes big and pretty. So that has definitely got something to do with it. And that's what gravitates her towards the trophy steers. They just get so big and they put so much horn out, and she just loves the prettiness of them and being able to come home. We have a pasture with about 10 large trophy steers. And then we also have what we call our junior trophy steer pasture. And we watch them up until they're about 18 months to 24 months. And sometimes they'll graduate to the larger trophy steer pasture, and sometimes they'll graduate to the beef herd. So, but she really loves the prettiness of that. And as far as our registered herd, the cattle side of it, the mama side of it, they definitely have to be good producers. They have to be able to earn their keep, good milk production, a solid body conformation. But again, the prettiness is important to us. But of course, you can't have pretty without a good solid mama cow. So that's a top consideration that we have to have.
Well, and also anything at our house, if it doesn't have that gentle nature, especially with us having a 4-year-old, if it shows any kind of aggression, or it's not being, on its minding its P's and Q's, it's going to the beef herd. I can't take that chance with a 4-year-old because he's out in the pasture with us. So everything we have is extremely gentle. You may not be able to pet everything we have, but they've all got a very gentle nature about them, or we cull them very quickly.
Yep, no second chances at Tolar Longhorns.
I like it. Well, with the trophy steers, particularly, because sometimes full-grown steers can be hard to find. Folks don't want to part with them, right? Once they have them as yard art and everything. Did you purchase those steers young and let them grow out at your place, or did you find full-grown ones to start with? Tell me a little bit about that.
It's a combination of the two, but the majority of them we either raised ourselves or we purchased at weaning. We would look for potential bull calves that maybe weren't going to be bulls, but they had a really nice mama cow. We like the twisty horn, so we kind of gravitate towards steers that would potentially have that twisty roll to them. And so that's kind of how that approach has come forth. But yeah, we've done very well because you're right. There's not a lot of people who market the big trophy steers. And we've sold several to people around here in the Southeast that have wedding venues or just party barn type things, or just someone who's not really wanting to get into the breeding side of things, but they do want some cows out front and they want something that's pretty, kind of like the way we started. We just wanted something pretty. something pretty to look at.
Was it hard to be patient and when
Yeah.
when you knew you wanted them, but they were weanlings, hard to wait till they're full grown?
That's the hardest part of this business, I think, is the patience side. It takes so long to know what you got on the female side to know if they're going to be a good looking cow. And also you got to wait another 2, 3, 4 years to know if they're going to be a good producing cow. And so it's you got to have a lot of patience. And with the trophy steers as well, they don't really start looking good until they're 4 or 5 years old. You have that goofy, awkward teenager stage is what I call it, to where their horns are maybe pointed in the wrong direction or they're real long and gangly. And so that's that junior trophy steer pasture that I try not to look at them very much because I want to send them all to the meat pasture, but Ashley has the patience and she helps convince me.
That's a really good way to put it, is the awkward teenage phase. I like that.
Yeah.
Is you all's ranch near a major road that you have some traffic stoppers out there and folks stopping by to take pictures and stuff?
Not really. There's a county road that goes by us. We're on the corner of an Alabama highway and a county road, but from the highway side of things, you cannot see into our ranch. We have trees there and we left them there on purpose. Ashley likes the privacy. She doesn't want just random people coming in, but, yeah, we are getting more and more known in the area as the Longhorn people. And so there's several people that do come in just to look at them. And so that's fun.
So you bought those first 3 and those first 3 had calves. At what point did you kind of start to consider or maybe revise things to have what you call your foundation herd, and who helped you with that, and who helped you get pointed in the right direction, and what did that look like?
Yeah, we bought the first 3 from Terry King down in the panhandle of Florida. We had some interest there, and we'd been talking with Nancy Dunn and Jimmy Jones. Those 3 are kind of the 3 that started us. They're in our area. And we went to a Settler event down at Terry's place, and I saw the first cow that we purchased, and I knew immediately that I wanted that cow. Her name was Little Pistol. But we bought that first cow, and then we got 2 others in the deal as a package deal to get us started. So those were the first 3 from Terry King. Then we bought several from Nancy Dunn. And then after kind of seeing what we liked out in the industry, we've sort of tried to make our own stamp on the animals that we have. And we've sprinkled in some genetics from Pace Cattle Company, from Hoosier Longhorns, from Hubble, from G&G, from Bull Creek, Dreamwood Farms. So I'm sure there's some other ones that we're missing, but a lot of those farmers, ranchers have helped us. And that's what we love so much about the Longhorn world. You can ask any of them anything, and they will be happy to tell you where they've messed up or where they've had success. So it's been fun.
Let's dig into the genetics a little bit more. If someone was to go look at your website, who are maybe 2 or 3 that you feel like really exemplify what you're breeding towards and you're most proud of, and then tell me a little bit about some of maybe the newer genetics coming in for future generations.
This is Ashley's world.
So we're partnered with Hoosier Longhorns on an Eagle, Texas son, native Charlie horse. He's absolutely massive. We were up there just visiting. We're not even thinking of buying a bull. And I just happened to see him. I think he was still on his mother's side or had just been weaned, but he was a good bit bigger than everybody else in the pasture with him. And I just asked him, who is that? And, didn't think too much more about it. And on the way home, Reid and I both said, we want that bull. He's going to be awesome. So we called him back and they agreed to partner with us on him. And he is putting leg up under our calves. That's what we're trying to do, get size on these animals. We like big cows. We want, some size and some body to them. So he's really helping us do that. Probably the nicest animal we have raised to date. Her name is Tolar's Peach Pie. We call her Peaches.
Yep.
An ode to my 4-year-old naming everything. But she's, nice, full-bodied, big, long legs up under her, and she's got a good twist coming on. I think she's coming up on 2 years old. But I would say she's probably the nicest thing we have raised so far.
Yeah, she's out of a 50-50 daughter. And then, of course, Charlie Horse is out of Native Dream.
And Eagle Texas.
Eagle Texas, Native Dreams being over 100 inches. And then Native Dreams' mother was Native Beauty, who's over 100 inches. So there's plenty of horn there. Charlie himself is 4 years old, and he's in the low 90s. I believe he's 92, 93, somewhere in that range right now. But just so he does not lack horn, does not lack size. He's just been a very good bull for us. And here recently, we've also partnered on a bull with Pace Cattle Company, PCC Spirit in the Sky. Scott and Megan and Titan have been great. They are just great to work with. Titan is so smart with these genetics, and it's just been a blessing to be able to learn from them. But they have said to us that PCC Spirit in the Sky might be one of the best bulls that they've raised. So we're very excited. He's just he's not even 2 yet, but he's on some of our heifers right now at the house, and really excited about him. He's a Gruya colored bull, and he's a Midas Touch. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Midas Touch son. So excited about what he has to offer for our younger animals.
So when we're recording this, you all are probably in the start or middle of calving season, maybe? Is that right?
We just finished up calving, yep.
Who are you most excited about? Is there one or two that you're just, when they hit the ground, you're like, I can't wait to see them grow up?
She likes all the little bull calves because she's so ready to castrate them and make them trophy steers. So she loves every one of those. There is a special little dark colored heifer. I'd say she's a Parker Brown heifer that's out of Charlie Horse and out of a Dark Knight daughter that we have from Pace Cattle Company. Her name is Dark Diamond. So she's going to be a special cow for us, I think.
How do you think that your background in horses and horse genetics maybe let you kind of figure your herd out a little faster than folks who are new to cattle or new to Longhorns?
Gosh, probably the biggest thing I've noticed, the main thing is just confirmation. Like I can, automatically, I just know what I like and I know what I want. I can just walk out there, look, and I'll pick what I want very easily, very quickly. And I think that had, a lot to do with growing up with horses. The good confirmation goes a long way.
You have the eye for it, which you can't always teach, right?
You can ask Reid. We'll walk out in the pasture and he can pick what I'm going to go for immediately.
They all look like big, fat quarter horses. But they're pretty.
So does that mean you all agree on those choices?
We do, for the most part, yeah.
We never have the same favorites, though.
Do you ever find yourself at sales or, futurities or whatnot, wanting to take home different ones and have to compromise, or no?
Yeah, I would say so, but I think she always wins those compromises.
As it should be, right?
That's right.
So you mentioned earlier when we were talking about your son that you all are getting in a little bit to showing. Did you mean, are you halter breaking? Are you doing futurities? Tell me a little bit about that.
We're just doing the futurities. If he shows interest in the haltered animals, we definitely will. We've taken some of the trophy steers out to the World Show, so we've been exposed to that side of it as well. But for the main part right now, what we're doing is futurities with the heifers and the bulls, and then we'll take a few trophy steers with us to the World Show. So if he shows interest and wants to be in that haltered world, we certainly will jump into that too.
What do you think of the futurities? What's your favorite part? How are things going for you?
I think our favorite part is just going and doing and just having fun with the people that are there. We're both competitive people, but we've both decided that the futurities for us really should be more of a marketing aspect instead of the competitive side, because when we both get really competitive, things get out of hand. We don't like losing. So if we go in knowing that it's more of a marketing deal and it's more of a getting your heifer ready for if you ever were to enter her into a sale, then she's been to town. She's seen the site. She's heard the auctioneer. She's heard the gates banging in the back. And so I think it's more of for us, it's enjoy the time with the people, let your cows be exposed to different things, and show off the animals that you are breeding. So we really enjoyed that side of things.
Well, as you're sitting there during the futurities watching different folks' animals go through the ring, who do you feel like stands out to you as someone whose program or heifers you really admire?
Gosh, there's so many of them. That's kind of what over the past few years, we've really liked what a lot of people are doing. The complete total package cow is really taken off, and a lot of people are breeding for that. So that's why we have so many different sets of genetics from the different breeders around the country. I don't know if there's any one that stands out, but yeah, it's been a lot that we've grabbed from.
What do you feel like has been your biggest challenge in building your breeding program, and how did you or are you working through it?
I think our biggest challenge up front was overcoming the ability to sell animals when we first started. But that's where the meat program came in. We were kind of forced into that world. And that has really, like I said before, has helped us create the floor for our animals and helped us keep a strong value for our mama cows. Because we know if we can't get a certain amount for them, then we'll just either move them to the meat herd to produce more babies for us or process them for ourselves. So I think that was the biggest challenge in the beginning, but it was really a good learning experience for us.
Something that you didn't know about raising registered Texas Longhorns that you've learned in the last 7 years?
I would say their gentle disposition.
Yeah. And patience.
The patience with us. Growing up in that commercial cattle world, those cows that my grandfather had and my father had were just nuts. And that was really what steered me away from cows. They got worked once a year. Other than that, they didn't get handled very much. So, they didn't like you. They didn't want you around. And so I was always nervous about Longhorns because they had weapons on top of their heads. But the very first bull we ever saw was in Nancy Dunn's pasture. It was 50-50. And his disposition was just amazing. We walked right up to him. He didn't even get up. He just kind of was like looking at you. Oh, okay, there's some people in the pasture. And that would not have happened in the pastures that I grew up in. So I think that was one of the biggest things that's been eye-opening is how gentle and patient they are.
So you all are obviously fortunate to be surrounded by Nancy Dunn, Tammy and Terry King, folks, Jimmy Jones, folks that you've mentioned. So Alabama obviously has some deep Longhorn roots in the surrounding area as well, and overall has deep cattle roots, but, it's not known as the epicenter of the Longhorn breed. So tell me a little bit about, what do your friends say? What are your, what's the scene like there in central Alabama? Are there other new up and coming breeders? Like, I know you said you're seeing more and more, but speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say most of our friends look at it as a novelty. They like the idea. They maybe don't understand how the economics works because they're used to taking cows to the sale barn and getting these high prices that are going. But it's and I try to tell them it's a different approach that we have. Instead of they're going for volume, we're going for quality. And our goal is to hit a home run every once in a while. And then our singles that we're hitting are the beef animals. where we can process those and keep some steady income coming into the farm with that. And then occasionally we might hit a home run and we sell a 100+ inch trophy steer to somebody, or we sell a very nice breeding animal to somebody and we get good money. Whereas it would take a commercial beef operator, 5 to 10 animals to reach that same price that a high quality Texas Longhorn could bring.
And are you all responsible for getting some newer breeders in your area started?
Breeders? Probably not. We've probably sold more trophy steers than we have actually breeding cows. We're still holding a lot of our breeding cows just because of the program and how we're building and how we're using these genetics. In the next couple of years, we'll be starting to move more and more as we're putting our stamp on these young animals that we're bringing up. But yeah, for the most part, at this moment, we've been selling mainly trophy steers and then a few breeding animals here and there.
So, Reid, you have an agricultural economics degree from Auburn and a law degree from Birmingham School of Law, which is kind of a unique combination. Do either one of those show up in how you run your cattle operation, do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely both of them. Ashley has the same economics degree, agricultural economics. That's how we met. We met in college, and I tried to talk her into going to law school with me, but she said she was done with school, so that was okay too. But yeah, we definitely use both of those. The agricultural economics shows up on the business side of things, learning the do's and don'ts in the economics world dealing with agricultural, but then the lawyer inside, and I think Ashley probably gets annoyed with this sometimes, is the liability side, always making sure that we have everything done properly so that we don't get ourselves into any kind of trouble having a cattle operation, because obviously these cattle, they can cause damage to property or people if they wanted to. And so sometimes by accident, sometimes by the cow just being, not what we want it to be. So I'm always paying attention, and that's why the gentle disposition is one of our top traits that we look for, probably because of the lawyer in me, making sure that we don't get sued by anybody.
So what does your typical week look like when you're splitting time between your office or the courtroom and the pasture?
Yeah, so I do a lot of estate planning, setting up trusts for people. Started off in the bankruptcy side of things, and so I've done a lot of financial law is where I've kind of focused my practice on. In the bankruptcy world, I learned where businesses might make mistakes and over leveraging things, too much debt, not enough assets, not enough cash. And then now that I spend more time focusing on estate planning, I have a lot of wealthy clients who I've been able to gather some ideas from about wealth preservation, about transferring assets to the next generation. My typical day is I get to the office fairly early, between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm here at work, getting the day going at the office. I've got 6 employees here that work with me. And so getting them moving in the right direction, then we work hard all day. Leave here between 4 and 5 o'clock. Ashley and Watson are typically ready for me in the side-by-side. And then we hop in it and we go out and feed cows and just enjoy the evening together. So typical day-to-day, that's what that looks like.
This is maybe a touchy question. We'll have to put some asterisks about, this isn't legal advice or whatnot, that you always see a disclaimer, but do you, within the industry itself, whether it be at the events or, visiting other ranches and stuff, does the lawyer in you want to give your fellow Longhorn breeders like a little bit of advice on one aspect or another?
Sometimes it does. I do want to come up, and I have to be careful because I'm only licensed to practice in the state of Alabama. But I'm definitely talking to people. I have people come up and ask questions a lot about different things, about the estate planning side and about the farm side and liability side. So yeah, it's definitely something that I love giving that advice, because I've seen I guess I've been an attorney for 14 years now, and I've seen a lot. I've seen people fail in business. I've seen people succeed in business. And so it's been very helpful to us. And I love sharing that with people. Anytime they have questions, I'm always open to talk.
Any little tidbit you can share here that's not crossing any lines?
I don't know. I mean, what we do with the cows is we enjoy them. It's good. It's a business for us, and it's a way for what I call wealth preservation. Take money, take assets, purchase cows. Those are assets that produce more assets in your herd. Now, it does obviously take a lot of time. It is a second business for us. It's full time, but it takes time and it takes effort. But it's a good way to. I call the cows little savings accounts. That's what I call them. They're just savings accounts that are walking around in the pasture. If we need cash, we can either process them or take them to the stockyards or get them sold. So they're just little parts of our overall business portfolio is what I call it. So it's just a piece to the puzzle.
Horses are the same way?
Yep.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit bigger savings account walking around out there.
Yeah, the bad thing I tell Ashley about the horses is you can't eat them if they make you mad. So
Very true. Let's talk a little bit about your marketing and your website. How long have you all had your website? Do you recall?
we started a website ourselves when we first got into it from the very beginning. And then probably 2 to 3 years after that is when we merged in with Hired Hand. And that has been a big time saving deal for us, because keeping up my own website it was so time consuming, and updating pedigrees, updating pictures. And that's the beauty of Hired Hand that we've seen, is the time savings, because what y'all have done on the back end is connect everything. And so we just upload a picture, we link the sire and the dam, and then the rest is done by you guys. So it's been a big help for us jumping into Hired Hand.
Who's in charge of updating the website? Both of you, or Ashley?
That would be Miss Ashley.
What's your favorite part of the back end work that you do? Like, is it adding a new calf and seeing the pedigree show up? Is it medical and measurement? Do you have what's one of your favorite things to do that doesn't make you sigh and think, oh, I got to update the website again?
Oh, adding the new calves or adding new cows, updating pictures. I love doing that kind of stuff. Reid will tell you I'm not very tech savvy, so if I can do it, anybody can do it. But, it's so handy. Just if you're wondering about a pedigree on somebody, it's just so easy. Everything is at your fingertips, and y'all have done a wonderful job of syncing everything together and making our lives a lot easier.
Good to hear. How do you feel like it ties into your overall marketing? Are you getting Facebook inquiries and then sharing links with people? Are you advertising locally for the trophy steers and sending, folks to the website that way?
We do get inquiries a good bit, but I guess the biggest thing for us is, when I see people on Facebook or wherever, and they're looking for a certain animal or a certain type of animal, I can just send them the link. It's just one click. It makes everything easy, and they can see all the information about that animal that they're wanting.
What's your favorite Hired Hand website besides your own, and why?
She's the one that does all the browsing, so she just shows me what she likes. So
I don't know that I have a certain favorite. I'm all the time, going to different ranches' websites, looking at their animals, researching their pedigrees. He likes to joke and say that I'm home all day buying cows on the internet. That's what I do. I'll find people that are posting them for sale on Facebook, and I'll go research their farm, research their ranch, their genetics, and he'll come home and, I might say, hey, I just bought a cow in Texas. We got to go pick it up.
Yep.
Are you also the bidder of the couple or the buyer of the couple on Hired Hand Live? Are you the one that kind of drives that addiction as well?
Now, I'll do the online bidding, but I let him do the in-person. That makes me nervous.
Well, it's not any different. It's just pushing a button or raising a hand or giving a nod, right?
That's right. I guess she's worried about people seeing her in person, but they can't see her behind the computer screen.
There you go. Yeah.
Do you have a pet peeve when you do see an animal for sale that you want to go research? Do you have a pet peeve when you go to a website and whether it can't find something you're looking for, something's not updated?
I have to say my pet peeve is the pictures. Like when they just take a picture and their mouth might be open or their tongue sticking out, and that's what they put on the website. I'm very funny about my pictures. They have to be standing just right, their back has to be straight, their tail has to be down. I don't know, that's one of my things. I like a good picture.
Is that something that you all do together, like at the end of the day or in the evening? Do you go take pictures together, or is that your job, Ashley?
He likes it to be my job, but it's really hard to get good pictures by yourself. Some of them will pose for you when you're by yourself, but at this point, they just see me coming and they're like, oh, it's just you, and they don't pay me any bit of attention. So I'll make Watson run around and quack like a duck or something just to make them look at me, pick their head up. So I do have to get him to help me a good bit, grab their attention so I can get the pose.
Do you also have to quack like a duck, Reid?
Sometimes.
That's the trademark secret for the good photos on your website.
That's it.
Well, let's do a little bit of rapid fire here if you all are up for it. So usually with couples, I'll have you each pick an answer. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Sure.
All right. So morning coffee or evening sunset, evening drink on the ranch, which one?
I'm a morning guy.
And I'm going to choose the evening sunset.
So morning coffee, I hope, Reid?
I don't drink coffee, but I'm definitely more of a morning person. Seems like in the evenings, I'm always trying to run and scramble and get everything completed, where she's able to kind of wind down.
Do you have a favorite drink in the evening, Ashley?
No. We have a 4-year-old. We don't get to just sit and enjoy a drink.
Well, I mean, it could even be just Dr. Pepper. I'm just saying, like, if trying to figure out if Reid doesn't drink coffee, what
keeps him going, huh?
Right?
Yep.
Right? Okay, so I feel like I know the answer to this one before I ask it because I can see directly behind you a certain mascot, but are we Auburn or Alabama fans?
So I'm an Alabama fan with an Auburn degree, and Ashley is Auburn all the way.
I'm Auburn all the way. I rode on the equestrian team at Auburn. We won a national championship, so I've got to cheer for Auburn.
So when it comes to the sports, we're definitely divided, but that's okay.
Does it ever get heated or anything? Any
Nah.
bets ever placed? No.
We used to care about it, but now we're too busy to care about it. So,
Do you have a favorite workday song or playlist for the days you're out working the herd?
I mean, I listen to Morgan Wallen radio all the time. It's upbeat, got a good tune to it.
man, I like the old school country. I'm kind of, I guess, more of a Cody Johnson if you're talking about the newer people in the music industry.
Who's your old school go-to guy?
Like George Strait, Tim McGraw, Garth Brooks, that the 90s folks that I grew up with.
Farm truck or ATV?
ATV.
TV, yeah.
One thing you always carry in your pocket at the ranch.
Ashley laughs at me, but I always have a pen because I've always been told you never know when somebody's ready to write you a check. So you always better have a pen.
Okay. What about you, Ashley?
I'm going to have to say my phone in case somebody wants to pose and I've got to be ready for it.
Are you boots or sneakers out in the pasture?
Sneakers or flip-flops.
And I'm boots.
Do you all have to worry about snakes much out there?
Not too bad.
Okay. So the flip-flops are okay usually.
Yeah.
Do you have pasture dogs?
We have dogs that want to be pasture dogs.
Yeah.
But they are not.
What's one thing you would add to your ranch if money was no object? And it could be an animal. I feel like someone else called me out on this loophole. They're like, could it be an animal?
I think mine would be an irrigation system. I really would like to have constant water whenever I wanted it so that I didn't have to worry about the weather and the grass. It's kind of difficult. We live in a pecan orchard, though, so we have a little over 400 pecan trees, and an irrigation system in the pecan trees probably doesn't fly.
What about you, Ashley? Anything you would want to add to make your life easier?
I would say more land so I could have more trophy steers.
Yep.
Instagram or Facebook?
Facebook.
If you could only attend one livestock event every year, which one would you pick?
I would say we've had fun at the Fiesta sale each year that we've been. So
Yeah. They put on a good show. It's fun and it's very family friendly. So
If you could each only pick one word to describe your legacy as Longhorn breeders, what would it be?
yeah, we talked about this, and I think honest. I think honest would be the word that we want to be, because that's something in my law practice, and it's weird to say because lawyers don't typically have that honest word is what you would think of them, but that's why I don't, at these Longhorn events, I don't advertise that I'm a lawyer. I don't want people thinking negatively of me, because there's a lot of negative stuff about attorneys out there. So with my law practice, I want to be known as an honest attorney, someone that does the right thing at the right time. And I think it's the same thing with our cattle operation. We want to be known as honest people who do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, and you can trust that it's true.
And if we sell an animal that happens to, something happens or it's not as advertised, then we will make it right. That's just very, very important to me, that you're happy with what you get from us. And if you're not, we will make it right.
10 years from now, what do you want folks to know about Tolar Longhorns? What do you hope Tolar Longhorns is known for?
I think 10 years from now, I think we'd like to be a good, solid breeder located in the Southeast, that if you want to come for a giant trophy steer, or if you want a good, solid breeding animal, that you know that you can trust that that's what we have, that's what we offer.
Anything to add, Ashley?
Same. Everybody, knows that Joe does the big steers up in Kansas, but you really don't have a source, here on the East Coast or down in the South. And so we're trying to make our mark in the steers, this region, that you can come to us if you want big steers, little steers, something to grow up with your kids. Santa has stopped by our house several times to pick up some steers to deliver on Christmas morning.
Yep.
So
it's always fun.
Well, tell our listeners where they can find you online and on social and everything.
Well, our website is www.tolarlonghorns.com. We do have that website with hired hand. It also links to a website that we have that sells shirts and hats and apparel, and also beef. Find us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Tolar Longhorns. I think we have an Instagram, but we don't ever use it, so better just stick with Facebook or the website.
And if folks are in your part of the country, are you open to ranch visitors, or do you prefer online visitors?
Yeah, we're open to ranch visitors as long as you call us and let us know you're coming. So we're happy to show people around, even if you're not interested in buying. We love showing the cows off.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Yep, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.